Guys, welcome to Your Best Interviews. My name is Eric Smith. Thank you so much for spending the time with me. I know there's a lot of places you can go to get interview prep help, so I do appreciate you spending it here with me. Today, what I want to talk about is the number one thing that gets people disqualified from the pre-screen phone interview stage. So the phone interview stage is typically, I call it the pre-screen because it's the step before the in-person interview. And this is typically done with somebody on the HR team or a recruiter. And so not the direct hiring manager. And so what that means is the person that you're interviewing with has probably read the job description just like you have, but they also have the added benefit of likely meeting with the hiring manager to understand what they're looking for in the pipeline that they're trying to build. But outside of that, they don't know the day-to-day. They don't know exactly what, the person that they're hiring should have. What they're doing is trying to find that connection or that correlation from resume to what the hiring manager has said and what the job description lays out. And so really what they're doing is, again, it's a pre-screen, right? They're just making sure that on paper you check the boxes and that you are a qualified candidate to move forward in the process. And my advice in the whole goal of the hiring process is to move forward, right? You want to make sure that you're moving forward and you're increasing your odds of just moving forward at every single step to get in front of the hiring manager and then make your case why you're the best candidate. So the area that job seekers typically blow when they get to the phone interview, that pre-screen, is not being direct with their answers. And what I mean by that is if a question is asked, for example, let's just say a recruiter is asking about a sales role and they say, do you have 3 to 5 years of experience? If you have 3 to 5 years of experience in a direct sales role, the answer is yes. If you have 3 to 5 years of sales experience, but maybe it's not directly in a sales role, maybe it's in a role that is very similar, but not a direct, account executive type book of business type of role, right? The answer is still yes, right? But what a candidate will tend to do is over-explain their answer. They'll say, well, not in a direct account executive role. However, what I do have, and really what this is doing for the recruiter, the HR manager that's doing this pre-screen is they're immediately hearing, no, I don't have 3 to 5 years of experience. And so what I'm not telling you to do is lie. Certainly don't do that. Lying in your resume or lying in the pre-screen will be the fastest way to exit that process. But more importantly, taint your brand as a candidate going forward, because you don't know who knows who, right? If you're applying within the same industry, people, depending on what that industry is, can be a lot tighter than what you think. And so if you're somebody who's fabricating your experience or lying about your resume, that travels with you, right? So never, ever do that. But what I'm trying to get across to you is you need to be direct with your answers. And I think where people tend to fall short here is they try and over-explain, right? So if a person's asking you questions, right, you know your background, you know why you applied, you've done your due diligence, you've looked to make sure that your experience is actually a fit for what you're applying for. And so this isn't the time to be asking questions or trying to clarify or over-explaining why you feel that your experience fits, right? You want to make sure that you're saving that for the hiring manager. And so on the pre-screen, they've got your resume. They clearly picked you out of the pile because your experience overlaps with the job description and what they're looking for. And so that's not the time to question yourself or be questioning what they're asking you. If they're asking you a question, the best way to do this is just be really direct and say yes, right? So again, if they're asking you a question that you feel like you have that experience, but maybe it's not the direct experience that they're looking for, the answer is yes. And if they ask you to further explain or lay out how your experience overlaps, given that maybe you weren't in a direct role or don't have that direct experience, then you have the chance to explain. But again, you want to be confident that you are a qualified candidate, that your experience does overlap, and that you're not eliminating yourself from the process. So be direct. Again, pre-screen phone interview is typically not the best place to be asking questions or second guessing yourself or clarifying what type of experience they're looking for. You've done your homework. You've looked at your experience on your resume. You've applied to a job that is a match, and they've picked you out of the pile because your experience overlaps. And so be direct, make their job easy, make it easy for them to down select you so that you can get in front of the hiring manager and talk exactly how you can be an asset based on your previous experience. Good luck.